Hi guys, this is gsmdown.com and I'm here with the Oppo X907 Finder, also known as the Oppo Finder, one of the thinnest smartphones in the world. Its thickness is lower than 7mm, it's 6.65mm. For many months, almost half a year, this model was the thinnest handset in the world and it beat everything out there. It beat the Motorola Droid Razr, it beat the iPhone 5, everything you know. So it comes from the brand Oppo from China. It costs 350 euros. We got it from Oppo Moldova. It's sold in Russia and Moldova right now. And in case you haven't heard about the company Oppo, they're famous enough to have Leonardo DiCaprio advertise their handsets, so they're that famous. Okay, we're dealing with an Android phone, obviously, one with a thickness of 6.65mm, and now we're going to analyze the design. This is a very thin and also elegant and solid phone. Believe me, it truly feels solid. It's got this metal flame all around. The volume buttons are also metal, and this on-off button here also metal. A nice touch of elegance. It has a matte design, as you can see, very grippy with a soft touch. There are two versions of the phone, black and white. There is no audio jack, trying to keep things very slim. We have right here a small lid on top of the microUSB port. The microUSB port also can hold an adapter that turns it into an audio jack. It's bundled with the device, you'll see it a bit later. And aside from this port, so this is the top, on-off button, microUSB port. On the side we have volume buttons, and on the other side we have these metallic pins here, and also this slot for the SIM. So let's try to open it up. Here we go. This is where you insert the SIM. If I'm not mistaken, it works with a micro SIM, this handset. So it keeps everything to a minimum, as slim as possible and as elegant as possible. Here we have the speakers, the Oppo logo, the camera with a pretty big lens, dual LED flash, a microphone, and that's about everything you have to see about the design. Another microphone here, capacitive keys, the display, the earpiece, and the front camera. So that's about all you need to know about the design. It's got good grip, it's got a good weight, 125 grams. And the capacitive keys are my only objection here. Their brightness is too dim, too weak. That is my sole objection of the design. So you saw the slots, you saw the solid metal buttons and the metal frame on the device, offering it solidity. Okay, now it's time to move further to the hardware of this handset. So we got right here a CPU, a Snapdragon dual core 1.5 GHz available on this device. And there's also an Adreno 220 GPU, 1 GB of RAM and 16 GB of storage. There's no microSD card slot, you probably noticed that already. And the screen is a Super AMOLED Plus, which means it's very bright, got beautiful colors and other stuff like that. And this is a 4.3-inch display, in case you're wondering, with a resolution of 800 over 480 pixels and 16 million colors to display. We're using a micro SIM on this device. It's got GSM all over the world, wherever you travel. It's available in black and white. It has GPS, Bluetooth 2.0, Wi-Fi, micro USB 2.0, and at the back we got an 8-megapixel camera with autofocus, dual LED flash, 1080p capture at 30 frames, while at the front we have a 1.3 megapixel camera at the top. Finally, we also have a light sensor on this device, and G sensor, accelerometer, FM radio, and the battery, in case you're wondering, is a lithium-ion one, capacity of 1500 mAh. In standby mode in 3G it should provide about 400 hours of functioning time, while in talk mode it should provide 9 hours of 2G talk time. In our tests of the battery, it surpassed 1 day of use, which is pretty cool, or you simply achieved 4 or 5 hours of continuous video playback. We also have Dolby Mobile audio on this device, so that's it when it comes to the hardware. Okay, so now time to test the multimedia abilities of the phone, the audio and video abilities, but first of all let me show you the accessories that come with the device. So we got this adapter right here, microUSB and 3.5mm audio jack. You simply take the device, open up its port right here, insert this accessory like this, and now you have an audio jack, normal one for normal headphones. If you're lacking this accessory, you can always use the bundle headphones that come with the device. So here they are. They sit pretty nicely in the ear, although they're a bit uncomfortable compared to the usual earbuds that are sold today with handsets. They remind me of the older iPhone 3GS headphones, if you want a comparison, and their volume is pretty loud. So this is how you connect them via microUSB. So that's it, no audio jack, but no one seems to be missing it. Well, aside from the fact that you cannot charge the phone while you're listening to music, since you'll use the microUSB port to charge the phone. Okay, time for the audio testing, I promised you that. For that I'm going to use YouTube and try to avoid any problem with any sort of copyright music. So there's a channel that I recently discovered with some pretty cool music if you're into drum and bass. And turning up the volume. So this is the channel I was referring to. And now let's search for a tune. Let's try this one. And now let's see what the speakers can do. Speakers available right here. Okay, so enough with the music, time to show you some options. The conclusions are that I'm very happy with the audio quality of this device, and if you pick a song out there and you try to listen to it, I'm going to show you some of the options available on this device. So here are the settings, the audio settings. We have the next track on shake, showing the lyrics is available, the Dolby effects, the natural bass. Let's see what else. There's a more section, you can add stuff as a ringtone. And once again in the settings area, let's see, so natural bass, high frequency enhancer and equalizer, you can play with all of them for a complete audio experience. The conclusion is that the bass is strong, the volume is loud, and the clarity is excellent. Plus there's the Dolby technology, so we give this audio 10 out of 10 for this device, both for the speakers at the back and the headphones that were surprisingly good, both in volume and bass. Time to test the video this time, and good old YouTube should do the trick. Okay, YouTube, this time I'm going to look for a trailer, Fast and Furious 6, and here's the trailer. And here we go. We got a Super AMOLED Plus screen with the RGB stripe arrangement. The colors are vivid, everything is very bright, and the viewing angles are very good. Let's skip a bit ahead where the action is. So once again, the viewing angles, the colors are bright, everything is vivid and crisp. Okay, so this was Fast and the Furious 6, and I'm very happy with both the screen and the audio quality, so the multimedia is a ball to have on this beautiful device. Time to test the camera, which once again, pleasant surprise, aside from some minor aspects. So let me get a castle for this, the brown castle, and start up the camera, take a quick snap, focusing on various areas. And the picture, as you will see, is actually pretty good, pretty detailed. So the camera is nothing to laugh at. 8 megapixel camera, dual LED flash, lots of details, everything looks crisp and bright. And I'm going to show you some samples, but first of all the options that are frankly pretty limited. There are no effects, you can only mess with the flash, HDR and sound, and then in the video area you can change the resolution, so we got HD or Full HD, also mess with the flash and cancel the audio recording. That's about it. So two little options, that's my only objection. We got good zoom and there's no noise in the images. The HDR is decently good, but I wanted more. Basically it adds a hue of green to the pictures, the HDR, that's my only objection. And let me show you some of the pictures I've taken. So this is one of my first pictures. This is the normal version and this is the HDR version. As you can see, it has become a bit green for some reason, but it's a bit more clearer on a cloudy day. Some other pictures taken with the device, and let me find some colors in here. So colorful stuff, lots of details. The pictures are excellent, I have to say that, aside from some strange occurrences of strong colors that are not well read by the image processor. So if you have a very strong color on a very bright background, the camera may misbehave just a bit. So these are examples of strong colors and strange backgrounds where the camera will react strangely. But overall the pictures were very good and I was frankly surprised by this camera. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. And now time for a video sample. Let's choose maybe this one and turn down the volume a bit. So this was a cat that was purring. As you can see, the video is very bright and it's very easy to zoom in and also not lose quality when zooming in. A thing that I'm going to show you immediately. By the way, nice viewing system for the videos, and if I'm not mistaken the one with the zoom is this one. So at some point I'm going to zoom and I will not lose any type of quality using this camera. The colors are pretty good, everything is bright and no quality is lost when zooming. Moving forward. So this is the zoom, as you can see, not a strange pixel in place. You can't even tell that I zoomed in and now I zoomed out. So pretty cool camera. That's the conclusion when it comes to the 8 megapixel sensor on the Oppo Finder. The thing about the camera is that I find it to be around the same quality as the Samsung Galaxy S2. It's on par with that one, and I regret the most about the camera the lack of a panorama feature, but there are apps for that. I like the Full HD capture, I like the audio capture that comes with the camera, and that's all I had to say about this handset's 8 megapixel camera with this big lens here and full dual LED flash, excuse me. And now let's move on to the software, since I'm sure you're dying to know what OS we have here. So this handset runs Android 4.0.3 Ice Cream Sandwich on top of that dual-core CPU I already detailed. There's a custom Oppo UI on top that becomes clear in the notification area, in the settings area. We also got a custom settings area with normal mode, tilting mode, some themes, the unlocking mode, and even the widget area. So this is the widget area, and that's pretty much how you can customize this phone, and the icons are obviously unique to this handset. And then we have this dialer, once again unique. Then comes the list of contacts, and by the way, the call quality on this device is very nice. We don't have two microphones for nothing. The noise cancelling abilities are actually very nice. Time to test the good old web browser, see what it can do. And this is how you alternate between tabs, by the way, something like this. And I'm going to show you the virtual keyboard I'm using. Here it is. It's a Go keyboard, it came with the device, and now I'm going to access gsmdome.com. By the way, very comfy keyboard, solid recommendation from us. So gsmdome.com, loading fast. This is the portrait mode. The screen is once again crisp and bright. Text is easy to read even on such a low resolution. And now in landscape mode. Easy to read, easy to scroll, easy to browse, with some shortcuts at first. And that was the standard browser, and that was the Go keyboard, in case you're wondering. The notification area holds the usual connectivity settings, plus an extra zone that allows you to edit the stuff you want to add to your status bar, like brightness, hotspot, auto sync, and GPS, and basically whatever you want to add to that notification area can be added. There's also the Yandex edition. There's also a slight weather widget here, so you can add more stuff to that notification bar. Time to test the virtual performance of the device by using some benchmark results. I have decided to compare this €350 phone with other dual core models with similar features and similar prices. I will compare the Oppo Finder with the Samsung Galaxy S2 and the Huawei Ascend P1. Okay, so this model scored in quadrant 3,566 points, being surpassed by the Galaxy S2 that scored 3,800 and beating the Huawei Ascend P1 that only scored 3,521. So basically it's very close to the Huawei model and it's below Galaxy S2. In Antutu we scored 8,500 points. We beat the Galaxy S2 with 6,000 points and also the Huawei also with 6,000 points. In Nanomark, here we were pretty impressed by the result. So we have a good GPU. The GPU is the Adreno 220. We scored 57 frames per second, while the Galaxy S2 scored 50 frames per second with a similar screen resolution, by the way, and the Huawei scored 38 frames per second, but it had a superior screen resolution. And then comes Velamo, where we scored 1,500 points, while the Galaxy S2 and Huawei Ascend P1 scored 1,200 points, so we beat them. Finally, we had a bit of a surprise in BrowserMark 2.0. Each and every device I tested over the past months scored about 1,700 points, 1,400 points. Guess what? We scored 2,100 points in BrowserMark 2.0 on this device, which is a surprise. However, in SunSpider we were a bit underwhelmed, 1,988 points, while the iPhone scores 900 points, and the lower the better, so you get the idea. Not that much of a browser, except for the result in BrowserMark 2.0. So the device should be on par with the Galaxy S2. I will once again compare it to that model. However, this one is prettier, it's thinner, and it actually may have a better camera at some points, and it surpasses it in some benchmarks. Okay, now I'm going to show you some more stuff on this very thin handset. So if you keep the screen pressed, you'll activate the widget area. You also get some shortcuts and folders to play with, and then we'll enter the settings area. That you can see it has been customized, and there's a very interesting option to schedule your power on and off on this device. I like this option. Then comes the sound area, where you can customize each and every ringtone and sound and feedback. Then the display area with a holiday wallpaper. It's a pretty cool feature. Custom center, animation settings, no animation, some animation, and finally security settings from Oppo. So that was the settings area. And now let's have a look at the many apps that come with this device, predictable apps. So we got a calendar that highlights the Russian holidays, from what I understood, since this model is available in Russia and Moldova. And then we have a weather app. By the way, all of these are apps and services from Yandex. Yandex is a Russian Google, so it's a search engine in Russia with its own app store and its own versions of local services. So it's in Russian, I don't know Russian, but there are a ton of apps associated to Yandex on this device. One of them is a note-taking application. It's called Near Me Notes. You can take a photo, an album, you can write stuff, and you can also doodle stuff, you can color stuff, so you can create multimedia notes using these applications and probably sync them with something else. There's also a pretty funky feature, it's called Lomo Camera, and this one allows you to play with some cool effects. So once again I bring the castle, here we go. With Lomo Camera that comes pre-installed on the device, you can play with a fisheye effect if you want, mirror effect, pencil effect, color effect, back to the fisheye. Then there's the rewind, and there's the distorting with wave, funnel, balloon and C. So basically you can play with some effects that people have on their cameras. Not many, but they're fun to play with. Okay, so this was yet another app. Aside from that, we have file manager, calculator, Wi-Fi hotspot, a power saving app that actually monitors pretty well the functioning of the phone. With a smart control, you even see what apps are using up the most power, what hardware is using the most power, so it's pretty cool. You can control these aspects. Then comes the security area. So this one is for virus detection, stuff you can restrict, traffic, anti-hacking, so pretty solid antivirus protection. Okay, also have Quick Office installed to open up office stuff. And then there's a Russian social network. It's called vContact or something like that. And then we got Twitter, which we installed by ourselves for normal socializing on a service that you already know. The interface looks cool on this screen. Everything easy to use with a single hand on this very thin phone. And a bunch of Yandex services here. Obviously Google Play Store works just fine. And from what I heard, there's also a Yandex Play Store available in Russia. And these are the Yandex Maps. In case you ever wanted to see how a Russian Google will look like, Russian Google Maps, well, this is it. This is the Russian version of Google Maps. I didn't get exactly familiar with it since I don't understand Russian. There's also Opera Mini pre-installed, and there's also this app. From what I understood, you can shop with it. Some more applications here, included yet another one for maps. This one is for guidance, like Nokia Drive, if you want a comparison. So it's turn-by-turn navigation. And there's also mail application, and then the usual tools like sound recorder, flashlight, compass, and over-the-air updates. So basically I just show you all the software that comes pre-installed on the device. Beautiful device, solid device, resilient device, and good sound and good camera. Time for the conclusions about one of the world's thinnest smartphones. On the pro side, we got the design. It's beautiful, it's premium, it's resilient, it's got metal, glass and a matte back. That's soft touch. The battery, well, I was very impressed to see it lasting more than a day. I didn't expect that, I didn't see that coming. The price is pretty good, 350 euros. The audio is very good, good quality, good bass, good clarity. The camera was also a surprise. Aside from the moments when it renders strange colors, the screen is very bright and crisp, as you saw in the video area. And aside from that, the phone is very fast. I didn't face any type of lag when using it and playing with it, and I like the fact that it can charge very fast. It took me about 1 hour and a half to charge it to full level, which I find to be very good. I wasn't expecting such a thin phone to have such a good battery, and which is a pretty good thing for the company Oppo. And now let's move to the bad side of things, the cons. The operating system, I would have wished Jelly Bean to be here, but an update was promised and it's in the work. The lack of the audio jack may be a bummer for some people. The custom operating system is a bit ugly, don't quite like this interface. And the fact that the phone cannot be found in other countries is one of the cons. And the fact that the camera sometimes gets some improper colors is also a disadvantage. And maybe the occasional lag that I didn't quite encounter, but it may appear at some point. Plus these capacitive buttons at the bottom that don't light up very well. Anyway, the grade is pretty good for this device. We give it a 9.5 out of 10 for the beautiful design. For the hardware, 9.2 out of 10. And for the operating system and user interface, an 8 out of 10. For a total grade of 8.9 out of 10. And this is the Oppo Finder. It measures 6.65mm in thickness, so less than 7mm. One of the thinnest phones in the world here at gsndon.com, with a good grade of 8.9 out of 10. That's it. Bye bye.